3 days left till free agency begins.
Yeah, no, he definitely needs to pace himself. But I think it actually revs him up when he's that way, no? Because that's how you kind of are on the show.
He is not on our show today, but we got Woj standing by with some news. Let's start this already.
All right, let's get to it, folks.
We going coast to coast. We going coast to coast.
Some big names in the free agency mix. Boston just became the front runner for one of them. We will explain. Plus, Kyrie the playmaker or Kyrie the teammate, what he wants from his next team. And the unique language of the NFL, from ice cream to Holly Berry. We're talking about those audibles.
Sports Center, coast to coast. It's where you come when you want the most. Yeah. Every city, every state and time. Get ready, we about to break it down.
Nobody's been in my position. Ask me July 1st.
Free agency 78 hours away, which is when teams can begin reaching verbal agreements with players. But news is filtering down before then, and Woj continues to ferret out the info. So tell me about Kemba Walker and what we know about his future, Woj.
David, the Celtics have emerged as a strong frontrunner to sign Kemba Walker once free agency begins next week. Barring an unforeseen change of events here, Kemba Walker is going to leave Charlotte. He's going to head to Boston, where with Kyrie Irving on his way out, Boston is poised now to replace one all-star point guard with a three-time all-star point guard in Kemba Walker, who played his college ball nearby at UConn.
Yep, grew up in the Bronx, so could be returning to the Northeast, where he spent much of his life. Kemba Walker could be heading to the Boston Celtics. And for more on that, we send it over to Kerry and our front office insider, Bobby Marks.
All right, thanks, fellas. So here we go. Bobby, we were talking about this. Could Boston's front office create the cap room necessary to sign Kemba to a max deal?
Well, they can, Kerry, and I think when you look at where the Celtics are right now, they're at $25 million. The max slot for a player like Kemba Walker is right around 32.7. So the likely player out would be a player like Terry Rozier, and that gets him up to $33 million. And when you slide in Kemba, that gets you to right there, and you have about $1.4 million. And what you can do with the rest of your money, you still have early bird rights on a player like Daniel Tice. You can exceed the cap. You have some of your second-round picks, and they also have the $4.8 million room exception. And there's still some needs for this team, and when you look at what is available, of course there's a need for a center. Could be a player like possibly Robin Lopez, and we'll bump his number down, and we can slide Lopez in here. But that is what Boston is looking like. You have Kemba Walker on a max, and then is going to be the $4.8 million room exception, along with the minimum exception to fill out your bench here.
All right, so Bobby says the likely player out. We don't know. Could be Terry Rozier. Thank you so much for joining us. David, I'll send it back to you and Woj.
All right, Kerry, so if you subtract Kyrie and you subtract Terry Rozier and you plug Kemba in, how does all that work with Brad Stevens' system?
Well, listen, I think Brad Stevens will be thrilled to have Kemba Walker as his point guard. The issue of leadership, of chemistry, was impacted last year with Kyrie Irving. That group never got together, and a lot of it was centered on Kyrie's discontent with the situation in Boston. What you get with Kemba Walker is a leader who is the same every single day. He comes to work. He does it through his action. He's going to be your hardest working player. And I think his game, as he moves into his 30s, they're going to ask him to have to do less in Boston. And in Charlotte, I always thought Kemba Walker was as important to that Charlotte's franchise as any player in the league was to a singular team. He kept their building full. He kept them in contention to be in the playoffs. But now with Jason Tatum, with Jaylen Brown, with Gordon Hayward, who you think will start to get back to his former all-star self, you have a group around him where they need a leader, they need a playmaker. He certainly can score with any guard in the league. It will put Boston certainly back among the elite in the Eastern Conference, a team that should certainly expect to make a run beyond the first round of the Eastern Conference playoffs.
All right, we got news happening 3 days ahead of free agency. A lot is going on right now before Sunday, 6 o'clock Eastern. Woj and Bobby Marks keeping us surprised. Kerry?
All right, David.